Welcome to the Core Growth Show, the podcast where we aim to educate, share, and inspire you to grow, lead with purpose, and make a real impact. With your host, Gary Wallace.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Core Growth Show. My next amazing guest is Beth Harding, and she is a member or employee of the Walk, We, Cycle Trust. And they do amazing initiatives where they help out a lot of local primary schools here in Northern Ireland and UK wide. So, Beth, thank you for coming on the show. And how are you today?
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'm well. I've been enjoying this gorgeous weather and getting outside as much as possible.
You know, and you talked about too that the rain has just arrived, unfortunately.
The rain did arrive this morning, but I'm trying to ignore that for now.
Okay, that's the way there. We're winning.
Yeah.
So, Beth, tell us a little bit about, I suppose, the charity, the trust that's in it, what it used to be called, where people might be familiar with, and what you guys actually do, and how did you get involved with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Gary. So my name is Beth Harding, and I work for the Walk, Wheel, Cycle Trust. It's a UK-wide charity. It used to be called Sustrans, so some people are probably more familiar with Sustrans than Walk, Wheel, Cycle Trust. We just changed our name in October of the previous year to sort of, be a bit more clear of what we do, what we're all about. So just as the name says, we exist. We're a charity that is trying to make it possible for everyone to walk or cycle or wheel for more of their daily journeys. So that could be to school, which is the line of work that I'm involved in, or to the shops in your local neighborhoods, to work, basically more of those daily journeys. Instead of using the car, try to walk or cycle or use public transport instead.
Brilliant. And your own interest, like too, would you be a keen cyclist or you're just quite active?
Yeah, both of those things. So I've actually been working for the charity for 15 years now. That's how much I love it. But when I first saw the job come about, I started off as a project officer working directly with schools, and it just seemed like the perfect job because it was all about encouraging kids to be physically active, and I had done youth work and community work before that. So that really appealed to me. And then it was all about encouraging kids to get more active and to use their bikes. And I remember one of the stipulations of the job was you must cycle for work. Some jobs I've seen would say you've got to have a car, you've got to be able to drive. But this job was actually like, no mention of a car. It was like, you must be prepared to cycle for your work journeys. So I just thought, oh, that's perfect. I love the sound of that. I love cycling. I used to do more road cycling, but now mountain biking is more my jam now. I've got a bike for just like daily cycling to work or taking my kid to school. And then I like doing a bit of mountain biking as well as lots of other sports. And
yeah, of course.
Staying active.
And where would be your keen mountain biking spots then around here?
Yeah, probably Castlewellan is my main go-to just because it's the quickest to get to and I can kind of get the longest run in. So it's got some nice flowy single track that I like. Although we keep getting storm after storm, which closes trails, but it's a great place to go.
Yeah, I think it was up there. I think I was up there 2 years ago, I think, with my son. I started taking them up Gorch and Glens. They made a few tracks up there. They used I guess the ups. They using actually the fire trails, and then a few nice wee downs there. And I used to go out with a few other guys who were just say well above my league anyway when it came to it. And when we went in the naturals, there was a little time delay by the time they were at the bottom and the time I got down, and probably a few more. But I was beautiful. Like I love it. I love getting outside and just connecting with the nature. Like you can go up there and you see. I remember Castlewellan. They had the fox or the bluebells as well, wouldn't they? A lot of that. So I remember that coming around some corners and just seeing all of that. It was beautiful. So, what are the many advantages of getting outside?
That's right.
So brilliant. That's great. And then I've got to pick up too on your amazing accent. Where are you originally from, or?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Nebraska, which is right in the middle of the US. I have been here for about 23 years, but I'm just hanging on to my accent.
Good.
And I'm not losing it yet.
Yeah, very patriotic. I love it. Yeah, keep with it. Stick it.
not in that way, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's still good. Still good to keep who you are. No,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. So if we look now, kind of when we look at why the charity kind of exists, where are we at now? Is
Mm.
there statistics? Is there anything out there when it comes to walk, wheel, cycle to
Yeah.
school in particular, or even if you can give us
Yeah.
overall?
Yeah, no, let's look at school. I think that would be good. So, yeah, maybe even just to back up a little bit. So, yeah, so when I first joined the charity, I was working directly in schools. We had a very small program. I was the only project officer working in schools in Belfast. But over the years, it's really grown. And it's now called the Active School Travel Program. It's funded by the Department for Infrastructure and Public Health Agency. So both funders are funding and supporting this program because it helps them to meet their departmental objectives. For DFI, that's changing the way people travel, so increasing active journeys and decreasing car journeys to school. And then on the Public Health Agency side of things, they're keen to see children's physical activity levels increase. And being active on the journey to and from school is an excellent way to increase physical activity and to meet the CMO's recommendation of 60 minutes of exercise every day. So we've got, two departmental objectives that we're working towards. And it is really needed in Northern Ireland. Unfortunately, the numbers of children walking and cycling to school are still quite low. The stats I'll just throw out if folks are interested. The most recent stats say that 64% of primary school pupils are driven to school and only 27% walk. And then if you look into it a bit more further, because I know a lot of people say, well, there's a lot of rural schools, people do have to travel further distances. Absolutely, I hear that. But when you look at the number of children who live less than a mile from their primary school, which is 49%. So about half of children live less than a mile from their primary school. And yet of these kids, only 48% walk to school. So there's still a great potential of families of children who could start ditching the car and walk or cycle or scoot to school instead. As you know, Gary, as well, the levels of low physical activity and children who are overweight or obese are very high as well. So this program is trying to target that and increase those physical activity levels. And there's also so much more increasing research about air quality and the effects that has on children. So the most recent stats are saying now that there have been 900 premature deaths across Northern Ireland attributed to air pollution exposure each year. And yeah, we know that children are far more susceptible to air pollution because of their height, where their lungs, where their faces to vehicle emissions and fumes is so much closer. So there's lots of reasons why our program is important, why it's needed in terms of air quality, environmental impact, carbon emissions, safety around school gates with all the congestion of cars and vehicles, and then physical activity levels as well. There's great need for it. And so what our program is trying to do is to help start changing the way families travel to school. Start small and grow from there if we can. But the overall aim is, yes, to try and reduce the number of car journeys to school and increase the number of active journeys to school. And that could be walking, it could be cycling, it could be scooting, or for a lot of families, a park and ride or park and stride journey is the most practical or feasible option for them. So that's when maybe a family that lives further away from school or a parent needs the car to go on to work later. They drive part of the way to school, but they park up at least a 10-minute walk away from the school. So that means it reduces congestion around the schools, makes it safer for all the kids who are walking and cycling into school, and also reduces emissions and makes the air quality around schools better too. And then the kids still get their 10-minute walk or scoot or cycle into school from there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, like I suppose that's the big thing, and and those are the things you maybe touched on it, like what's not happening in terms of parents driving straight to school. In terms of schools now, I empathize with schools a lot because they have got a lot of pressures on them. you know, what role have you done or played within schools to help encourage schools to do initiatives like this?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So we're currently working with over 500 schools across the country. There, at any one time, there's 180 schools that are receiving direct support from one of our project officers. So I have a team of 7 project officers who are based all around the country, and they each have a number of schools that they're responsible for directly supporting. So one of the things that really appeals about our program to schools, not only is it like helping to meet their environmental aims and their physical activity aims and making it safer around schools, but also what we offer is direct support. So, we're not just saying to the school, here's a good idea, go away and try and do it yourself. But instead, we are physically going into the schools to deliver activities and events that maybe teachers wouldn't feel so confident doing, and understandably so, or they don't have time to do it because they have so many other responsibilities on their plate. Um, so we go into schools and do many things. So anything from like communicating with parents, with children in assemblies to try and start getting the message across about active travel and what the benefits of that might be for children and for their families. And then a lot of the work that we do is helping to increase children's skills and confidence so that they can safely walk or cycle to school. So that might be teaching kids how to ride a bike for the first time, cycle skills, scooter skills, teaching kids how to do basic bike maintenance, like fix a puncture, skills that maybe some of us would have picked up when we were kids, but isn't really such a popular thing anymore. And then a lot of what we do is try to create fun events and challenges to motivate families to have a go, so they're like, oh, we'll just do it this one day for a special event, or this one week for a challenge. And then hopefully people realize, actually, we got to school far
Yeah.
quicker, or we had a really nice conversation on our walk into school, and then maybe they're more likely to repeat it after that.
Yeah, brilliant. Because I know just when you're saying that about learning the puncture, I can just still remember whenever you got your puncture where the basin of water was out and you had to try and
Yeah,
find the
yeah,
area, like, because you weren't even getting a new tire, you were getting the patches to put
yeah.
over it. It's like,
Well,
so,
this is what, and kids love it, especially, some kids were more practically minded and really
yeah.
want to do something with their hands at school. When we come in and offer these different kinds of activities and events, it really appeals. And yeah, it's lovely to
Yeah,
see
that's
kids really
great.
shine in those sorts of things.
Because a few examples that I've heard of us speaking with Simon Patterson there in Fort Hill, they had a
Mm,
great concept where they were like inner city kind of, or just on the outskirts in an urban area of Lisburn. And he says that 2 teachers himself, maybe the VP, went to the start of the school, and one turned left, and one turned right, and they both walked half a mile.
yeah,
And then they met the group, and this group started to increasing. He says, even when they
yeah,
weren't doing it, families started to take that on, and then parents started to get the confidence that the children knew the route, or if they weren't coming, other people were meeting. But the
yeah.
the positive, it's not just okay. Yes, we're getting them out, we're getting them active. They're getting 10 minutes. But Simon was like, I am a principal, a busy principal in the school. My conversations with kids are like, oh, how are you? Oh, brilliant, love your shoe. Oh, where are you?
Mhm.
How's you getting on? Did you see? Now he says, I'm having a conversation. Well, what did you get up to last night? Or did you see the
Yeah,
football? Or, and we're having a good 10-minute chat the whole
yeah,
way up to the school. So as teachers are connecting with them and building stronger, better relationships, and the children feel safer, I think it was a kickstart for them on that, because they then had activities when they came in. They literally got the P7s, they like TikTok dances on top of a hill and played
mm,
music, and everybody just
yeah,
joined in when they want. They started
yeah.
doing scooting to school, but then they
Hmm.
started running after school clubs for scooting. So not only
Yeah,
did the kids do the after school clubs with a few external providers, they then were scooting home as
yeah,
well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like this knock-on effect, and I think the big thing as well too, when we got down in the nitty-gritty, he actually seen his attendance level increase in his school,
Hmm. Yeah,
and being a more active school, more approachable,
yeah,
because kids were maybe excited to do. Now, part of it could
mm,
be that, or there's something else might have happened in the school, but also their academic performance. He
yeah,
could see. Now he says, "Look, this is 1 year of this program.
mm,
I understand thing, but he says there's nothing else we really ran. No, we just said,
mm,
see, does this stick? Does this work
yeah,
over?" a lifetime, or even
Yeah,
a 7 year lifespan from a primary one coming into primary seven.
yeah, yeah.
And that's getting that. So I think it's really good about all of that. So what's what's the best outcome that for you as a company, or what's your mission or your vision that you would love to have and to see?
Yeah, I mean, really, our sort of within this program is we believe that every child should be able to walk and cycle to school if they want to. Um, so it goes bigger. I mean, that then taps into infrastructure because a lot of schools are located in places where kids can't safely walk or cycle to school. So we want to see bigger scale changes where there's more investment and targeted investment around schools to make safe routes for families to be able to even have that option to walk or cycle to school safely. So we want to see it on the big scale, but on an individual scale, we want to see more kids walking and cycling to school and being active. And it's been wonderful that through this program we are seeing that. So the active school travel program, as it currently exists, began in 2013, and every single year of the program, we've seen positive increases in the number of children walking and cycling to school at participating schools. So, like in the most recent monitoring year in 24-25, the number of pupils traveling actively to school increased from 35 to 45%, and the number of children being driven to school decreased from 58 to 49%. So on top of those school journeys, we're also seeing increases in active physical activity levels. So we saw an increase from 25% to 35% of pupils getting their 60 minutes of exercise every day. So we're seeing really positive results in
Good.
numbers. And
Yeah.
the schools that are taking part in it are amazing, like Fort Hill Integrated. They're really bought into it. They really see the benefits for their children. Like you talked about, anecdotally, you see teachers say, oh, the kids who walk and cycle into school, they arrive into the classroom, they're awake, they're alert, they're ready to go. So they do perform better in the classroom. And there are academic studies that show that as well. And also, like you talked about, the sort of conversations that teachers can have with kids on a walking bus or parents are so much richer, and it sets their kids really well, it sets their kid up well for the day to have that nice conversation rather than a stressful, quiet journey in the car.
Yeah.
So I know with my kid, I love being able to walk or cycle into school with him, and I think it sets him up well for the day.
Yeah. Because if you think about that, when I look back in my journey to school, we were saying we were drafted off at a certain point.
Yeah.
But if we were late or there was ever traffic, there wasn't much communication in the car,
Yeah, no,
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
we have a very healthy family relationship and stuff too, and still do. But even at that, to be stuck in there, I
Yeah.
was probably me sleeping. Um, I sitting in the back of the car trying to get my buzz licked down to the top of my head.
Oh, yeah.
And then nobody communicates until you get to the traffic lights, and then okay, out you get and walk while dad
Yeah.
goes off to work. But
Yeah, yeah.
whereas when you walk, you'll probably get through those first wee phases off, right?
Mm,
It's left now, we're out of the house now. Oh,
yeah.
this is nice. Now,
Yeah.
let's start our conversation and let's see where that takes us.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's really powerful. It's funny because I did a charity cycle there last year where I cycled
Mm.
300 miles around different counties and stopped off in primary schools along the way. So I did it
Oh,
for
amazing.
Children's Heartbeat Trust and Tiny Life.
Oh, very good.
But it was amazing. Like a few things that I picked up was it was only outside Castlewellan, I think, when I got my first bike trail.
Mm.
Like I think the pavement was made for bikes.
Oh, like a segregated
Yeah, like a
cycle path. Yeah,
cycle
yeah.
path, and not
Mm.
trail, sorry, like a path. And the rest of it now was to cut out certain things to get the shortest distance, but
Mm.
there wasn't a lot even there. Now I went through some
Yeah.
beautiful country roads. It was amazing,
Mm.
like places I'll never be in. And even when I'm in the car, I remember coming over, and I got a cracker of a week too to do it. I did it all week. I remember coming over Limavady Mountain,
Mm.
and I think I've been on the road once, but I never seen it like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
But
wouldn't experience it like that in a car.
you
Yeah.
couldn't like, and I know it was a beautiful things, but it was funny actually. The worst, the not the worst side, the most challenging, or the one that probably gave me the biggest headache was Belfast itself.
Yeah,
Like
I'm sure.
cycling in Belfast was a nightmare, and I had a lady, one of our coaches was coming behind me, and it was just the infrastructure for that. Cities weren't built in the Industrial Revolution to have, wide paths where people are going to go and cycle and communicate. They're narrow, the roads are tiny, everything. So, is there something that this is where not you guys are working on, but is there stuff in the pipeline? Have the Department of Infrastructure set stuff across where they're trying to increase that? Have they targets or anything for those?
They do have targets, they do have plans, but there hasn't been a lot of action.
No
And there
surprise.
has, yeah, there was recently an audit report on DFI's. So DFI has an obligation to spend 10% of their budget on active travel with the Climate Change Act, and there was quite a damning audit to say how it's not reaching that and how poorly it has been spent or reported on. Um, so I mean, I think we need more accountability in terms of yeah, how budgets are spent and how active travel is properly invested in. Northern Ireland has the lowest active travel spend per head across the UK, across the Republic of Ireland. If you look at the money that the Republic of Ireland is investing in active travel infrastructure, it's incredible, and they're getting results from it.
Yeah.
So we'd love to see that dedicated investment, and you do have to think more long term. You know, yeah, some people think, well, I fix a pothole. That's like a quick win right there. But when you think about the longer term, bigger investment and return, like the stats are there to show the investment in active travel reduces massively the cuts or the strains of health budgets because of increased physical activity and improved health. And then when we look ahead to, yeah, the effects of carbon emissions, yeah, we need to think
Yeah.
further into the future and
It's
make those right
it's
investments.
funny when you mention the South because just on Sunday actually I went for a cycle. Um and where I live I'm just kind of on the border, but from the place Castlefin to Lifford, they have a full like
The,
cycle path there.
the
And
greenway there, yeah,
yeah, the
yeah,
Greenway, so they're doing that the whole way to Donegal town, I think, aren't
yeah,
they, along the line? So, but even that, like from where I am now, my issue is that I'm downhill, and which is great at the start, but at the very
yeah,
end. But it was
yeah.
beautiful because I got like 35K in,
Oh,
just going down, heading across, maybe 7K from Castlefin, not even across that, went round the roundabout of Lifford, came back on it. There was no waiting for cars to wave them past. There was no nothing. There was people on it. It was clear. You could see a big wide open space. There was enough room for walkers
yeah,
with their dogs and people on their bike. And yeah, it was really good. And then even a friend of mine too around Moville direction, the other side at Donegal, were saying like he would have been, oh my God, like I don't know why they're spending this money. There's a walkway along there. But he says every time we drive past, there's constantly people on it, and you
yeah, they're
can see,
using it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think can't remember reading, but like obviously the European countries are exceptional at it, like as well too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them, but just that when it's like a field of dreams. When you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I know.
So, and there is research out there to back that up, isn't that correct?
Oh, absolutely, yes. And also, those countries that we look to and go, oh, if only we could be like the Netherlands or Denmark. They were where we were at 1.2, and they had tons of pushback and resistance. Public didn't want it, but they looked ahead and they made those decisions for the long term. And now look where they are. Like they're the envy
Yeah.
of many countries. But they were where we were now too.
But I
I
just think
think it's important to remember.
yeah, that's true. I think I remember being in The Hague, coaching one of the football teams. But I remember I was doing a training for an ultra marathon at that stage.
Oh,
Goodness know
wow.
why. I just jumped straight in. I didn't even do a 10K. I just went straight in with one of my mates. We were like, we could do a marathon. I'm not that thing. Like I could do a marathon. I'm not going to do it in any amazing time, but I know I could get myself from A to B. So I thought, you know what? Let's really challenge ourselves. And I didn't go any time at all to do the ultra. I was training with him all this time, and he decided then on the morning off that he was going for a time. I was like, whoa, okay.
Oh,
But the point was, I remember going to the Hagen. Like this is where geographically they work out really well, but it was just so flat for miles. It was like
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and I can see why, even my own cycle journey there was, I could go uphill, but very easily the whole length of the castle, the Castle Fin de Lifford. You could drive your car to there. You
Yeah.
could walk
Yeah.
that, you could cycle that. I seen somebody
Mhm.
dropping off. There's a lovely wee park in Castlefin where, you know, go to the park, take your bike, get on the safe trail on the cycle path, with your kids and go
Yeah,
and
it's great
enjoy
for
it.
kids. Hmm.
Yeah, with them and let them experience it, because
Yeah.
it's a heavy traffic road, don't get me wrong. It's a linkway,
Mhm.
but it's, I had the earphones in, but you
Yeah.
know, it was smooth. It was
Yeah.
nice. There's no going left and right. Watch that pothole. Watch that. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, I was so
Oh,
well
that's
kept
amazing.
actually. That was a lovely thing, and I think people appreciate that then too. If there's rubbish or there's anything, you're more than likely to pick that up and move that
Mm.
along rather than walking on the side of a road.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but look, that's and it's great to hear the charity are kind of doing that. So even when we go in, you have all this. You're working closely with the department. But if somebody's listening to this now, they've young kids, or maybe let's go the whole way lifespan.
Mhm.
You're a teenager, or you're on your own, or you're a parent with young
Mhm.
kids, or you're in your retirement age. What are some of the tips you'd like to give for some of those people just
Okay.
to
Yeah.
Walkway Cycle Trust? What are some
Sure.
initiatives they could try or things they could do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe if we start at young kids, so one of the most popular activities we run in schools are our ditch the stabilizer sessions, or learn to ride sessions. Um, so that's teaching a kid how to ride their bike independently. I guess one of my top tips would be to avoid stabilizers altogether. I think for the most part, stabilizers aren't helpful in terms of learning balance and learning control of a bike. Um, so I would really encourage parents, carers to think about balance bikes to begin with, which is a bike without pedals, that a child can sit on, have their feet flat on the ground, and they can move themselves along by walking or pushing their feet. Um, and balance bikes are brilliant because you're learning control of the bike, you're learning brakes, and you're learning balance, but with the safety of always having your feet on the ground or close
Right.
to the ground. Um, and you don't even have to buy a balance bike. What you can do is buy a small bike, used bike, and take the pedals off. So for my kids, I did start off with a balance bike, and then when he was feeling confident and moving really well on that, I did get a pedal bike, and I took the pedals off, lowered the seat so it felt like a balance bike. Felt really familiar for him, and once he got used to that, he was basically the one asking for, "Can you put my pedals on? I'm ready
Yeah,
to go."
brilliant.
Um, so then when we run this session in schools, it's very much like this, just in a quicker, shorter time span. So we take pedals off of bikes, drop the seat, get kids confident, balancing, scooting around on their bike. And then we introduce one pedal and get them used to pushing down
Push.
on the
Yeah.
pedal to generate some momentum, and getting confident with that, and then introduce the second pedal. And honestly, like within an hour session, not everybody's different, which is totally fine. But the number of kids who do learn to cycle within that hour session is really impressive. It's really cool to watch. One of our
Amazing.
favorite activities.
Yeah.
Um,
It
and I
just
think
shows you about how
also,
much how much of a sponge children are,
yeah,
and they're
well,
absorbing information and they're
mm,
proprioceptive and their awareness of, and they probably get in more into the now, into the moment than we ever do as adults, because you're probably thinking of
yeah,
100 other things, but they're like, I'm on this.
yeah, 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 and they're tuned in
Yeah.
to their body and how it feels on the bike. And I think that's quite good because in the old school way of learning it, people would go from stabilizers to like physically holding their kid, which can be stressful for both the kid and the carer. Um, but this way of doing it is all about independence for the kid and letting them go at their own pace, and them feeling that confidence in their body and on the bike as they progress. And everyone, like I said, everyone is different. For some kids, it does take longer, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, because that's where we are now. My youngest, he's 2.5.
Yeah.
So he's balance biking now, and he just wants to go faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fast, and it's fun. And one of the other things I actually found quite interesting, like he's a little no pedal tractor, but actually setting him on that for that motion of moving, actually, because he couldn't grasp that concept.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just thought, I don't know if it was right or wrong, but I just thought for him to
Yeah.
actually grasp that, okay, this is the motion now if I do this. So even practicing on that for that motion, but really getting him on the balance bike. I actually need to take a seat up now for him because it's nearly like his knees are nearly going. They just shot up. It's like, right. But he just wants to
That's
get
exciting.
faster. But he's like, it's funny, like and when you mentioned one thing I don't have on his balance bike is actually brakes. So, but we have a decent hill of the driveway. So, I must look into that. But I love that idea of the pedals off, their first bike, as well.
Yeah.
To get used to that, get the seat down nice and low. You're still touching the ground.
Yeah.
Let's see, can you go one pedal, two pedals? But because contrast to my eldest son, I remember when he tried his bike and he tried a balance bike as well. And then literally remember we went in the grass, we're up in Rusnella, Donegal, and we were in the grass, we're in the caravan site, and I just literally went, okay, 3, 2, 1, and give him just a wee push. Helmet was on. Didn't see him. It's like
Gone.
I was like, that's it. But you know how to cycle if I that was him, man. Like, so as you said, everybody will learn differently. Everybody will have their own thing, but it's probably giving them, okay, well, here's a pathway, I suppose, for it, rather than, as you said, don't force it, don't hold them, too much, don't be letting them progress. And if they go, oh, that one pedal is easy, brilliant, let's put on 2 pedals then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Within an hour, you say, would do that process, like potentially? Like, there you go. Like, amazing.
But sometimes, like for some kids, maybe the fear part comes in, and so they're like, oh, no problem, we'll like take the pedals back off and just enjoy however you enjoy your bike. If it's without pedals, it's one pedal, like stay with that until they feel confident and happy to move on to the next step.
Because even that thing of, you've got your balance bike, it's your baby bike as such, but I remember getting your first bike, like that's your bike and you want to get on that straight away. And you're like, look, you don't want to turn this into a fear. You want to turn this into something. I love my bike, well, let's get you on your bike. Let's get the pedals off. Enjoy the bike, enjoy the grip of the handlebars, enjoy that you've got gears now, or you've got your basket in your front, or you've got your bell. Get on and enjoy that. That's yours. So let's not turn it into fear. I love that idea because you're still on your bike. You just haven't had the pedals on yet, but you're still on your bike and you're getting to feel it rather than, oh, I don't like that.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh no, it's such a wonderful part of the program, and we always involve parents and carers in it because it is one of those milestones that you don't want to miss, even if your journey up to that point has been a bit frustrating. That's why we love to offer these sessions in schools, because there are some parents and carers who are like, we cannot get to this point, and then it kind of becomes a source of frustration between child and parent. So if we can come in and like offer a fresh approach or a different voice while the parent or carer is still there, then we can get to that point and everyone can be there to celebrate it. And it's really lovely. It's a great moment.
Beautiful. And then just sticking with the kids and the bike, I know something that cost can be a factor. Is there anything you recommend where people can get secondhand bikes, or where's the best place to look for that?
Absolutely. So I know for my kid have always gotten bikes from Gumtree or Facebook Marketplace, or keep an eye out in charity shops, because kids' bikes often, like you talked about, your kid grows so fast, they grow out of a bike. So often a bike, if it's, decently well maintained, it's going to continue a good life. So I would encourage trying to look for a used bike first, because you'll save a bundle of money. And if they're usually in good nick. I would also try and find a bike that is lightweight. Some bikes from maybe toy shops or whatnot look fun. Maybe they're like branded with the kids' branding kind of thing, but they can often be really heavy.
Yeah.
So try and find a bike where your kid can maneuver it okay, because a heavy bike is imagine like you and I getting on a bike that was really hard to pick up or maneuver. It would make for a frustrating experience. So yeah, try to find a bike that's
Yeah.
decently light.
Because I made
Um,
that mistake as well too. My eldest, I think,
no,
it was like ended up being like a cast iron bike, and I suppose I wasn't really into biking as much even then.
yeah.
But I got a carbon fiber mountain bike, whereas he
Mm,
then had a cast iron, and we were going up thing, and oh, it was like, but you know what? It was a challenge in itself, like where he was getting off and he had a push, and there was nearly tears. Like as
oh
you
yeah.
know, like getting the top of a mountain bike trail, it can be challenging.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it was funny the first time we went down our first mountain bike trail, he literally stopped and he was like, I think it's about 8 or 9. And he's at the bottom. He's like, oh my God. He's like, what? He's like, that was like scary and exciting at the same time. I was like, welcome to adrenaline, my friend. So like, cause we,
Oh,
we,
that's
we
so
would be
cute.
like constantly in the water, and he loves surfing. He would go in and like even
Mhm.
that, like even something simple when I got him into the water, I made sure I bought a wetsuit that had luminous yellow sleeves,
Yeah,
because I would go in and I maybe go out back a little bit more, and I would, where he was happy out playing and the thing, going after the white water,
yeah.
and he just had that thrill now that comes
Mhm.
along. But now he's a
Yeah.
teenager, and that's
Oh, right.
probably that's probably now, we've got the kids, they're enjoying their bike, they're going off, encourage them, maybe go to the shop, get them a wee bit further and
Mhm.
further as a parent.
Yeah,
But what
brilliant.
about that period now? Did they turn to teenager? What is there anything advice or anything that you would say like,
Yeah.
okay, but not even just biking, but walk, moving in
Well, yeah.
general, like it used to?
Activity. Yeah, no, yeah, well, maybe just to say it is we do in the sort of Northern Ireland wide statistics, or UK wide, south of Ireland as well. The number of children walking and cycling to school does drop off when you hit post-primary school. And part of that is, well, partly the structure of our post-primary education over here, where young people don't necessarily go to their local school, but they go to the school of their choice, which can be a further distance away. And most schools do have good bus services, so that's brilliant. That's sustainable transport. Great to see kids using that. But there's still, a lot of families who would drop their teenager off to school. So that's kind of the population that we'd love to change, whether that's changing to bus or to walking or even cycling. But I think it's what you said, Gary, of really encouraging the independence value of a bike or walking for a teenager. The cost of driving and getting a car for young people is insane, and then I think we're going to be forced to have to move away from that. It's not just going to be
Yeah,
the like, oh, everyone gets to do this when they reach a certain age. But I think about my kid and think maybe he will never drive. Yeah, you just think
yeah.
it's going to have to change for young
It's
people.
just even insurance and stuff too. Because I know even with my,
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I kind of got a little bit more independence when he was younger. Him and he's a really good friend.
Hmm.
And we probably live like say 2 mile outside of town. So we lived in an area of Killyclar
Yeah.
and into Oma. Like, but him and his wee mate, we let them walk to the park and then
Yeah.
back. They walked to the shop and back. And then it was the
Brilliant.
town. But now they still continue to go into the town. Now then you've
Yeah.
got the antisocial behavior, you hope they're not. But it's funny
Yeah.
because like we would sit down and Josh would like look at his watch and he'd be like, we did 17,000 steps a day. I was like, well, what'd you
Brilliant.
do? Oh, we went there and we went up to Killian. We got
Yeah.
Killian's granny a coffee, and then we walked up to her house and went back in the town. And then they go into like this jeweler shop all the time, and this guy loves to see them come in. He's like, boys, really see what have yous here. And the amount of people then would say to me, he's like, God, I seen your cub down the town again. He'd go out big. And so,
Mm,
they are active and they're just like, they
yeah.
enjoy each other's company, and they probably enjoy it more because they are walking, they're not on their phones all of
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Um, and I would still encourage Josh at times to like here, because I invested in a decent bike from them too when we were mountain biking,
Mhm.
and we would go out now and again, or I just encourage him. I was like, just go to the shop if you want, but you have to cycle,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
go for it. And why don't you put your earpods in and just go for it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he would walk home from school and stuff. But I think that is because it's ingrained where you see
Mhm.
teenagers now, you're like, Mom, just come and collect me.
Yeah, they're just used to the taxi service of the
Yeah.
parents. Yeah.
And again, we all got to take responsibility. That
Hmm.
comes down to you're the parent, you're the one who is leaving them here, there, and everywhere. You're the
Yeah.
one still
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe say, look, start walking. I'll collect you in
Yeah.
10 minutes or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. You know,
Break the journeys down.
break
Yeah.
a journeys
Yeah.
down and stuff,
Mhm.
especially that teenage kind of thing, because I think that's the issue with it is the benefit, yeah, of the
Mhm.
carbon, everything's down,
Mhm.
travel time, all of that. But being outside, movement,
Mm.
their circadian rhythm, getting them outside first thing in the morning so they actually sleep
Yeah.
better at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a load of science there from because
Mhm.
obviously that would be my stronghold, the physical activity, and if we can,
Mhm.
I was reading interesting research there. We're running a campaign at the minute. It's called Tag Every Day in May. So we're
Okay.
encouraging schools and parents at home, and if you go on our socials, we're sharing a tag game, a different tag game every day
Oh,
uh,
fun.
for you to try at home because it's fun. Number one,
Yeah.
what you said there, oh, wow, fun! Like so, you try it at
Yeah.
home with your
Yeah.
kid, and then. But the benefits of us being from vigorous activity to moderate activity. So for
Mhm.
every 9 minutes of moderate activity is equivalent to 1 minute of vigorous activity when it comes to health benefits. So
Mhm.
things like type 2 diabetes, it's like 1 to 4 for Alzheimer's and stuff. So this research has come out now, people wearing wearable devices that if yeah, first and foremost, let's get them moving. But if we can get them vigorously, let's challenge this hill.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's pedal
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Let's
Take it up a level.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's just go and you know what? Push, 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 push. Well
Mhm.
done. Now we'll chill. Now
Yeah.
we'll go. So let's go for it. But the psychological benefits first and foremost, the physical benefits, the emotional benefits, the connection, the resilience. You
Mhm.
know, why would you not introduce this a little bit? And we're not saying that's it, ditch the car.
Yeah.
It's where can you find those opportunities? So is there anything else that you should do, for that post 16 or not the secondary school kind of age group teenage?
Yeah. So in our program does primarily work with primary schools. Maybe like 10% of schools taking part in the program are post-primary schools. But the engagement level isn't as strong as the
Yeah.
primary schools. Um, like I talked about for lots of different reasons. But but I think what we would encourage for those schools is yeah, tapping into the independence and the practical life skills element side of things. And for some kids that really appeals to them and really taps into their strengths and interests. So that can help with attendance rates in some schools and academic performance as well. Um, so some of the schools that take part, that that's why that really works for them in terms of those reasons. But I think, Gary, it's so much of what you said of it's about parents encouraging independence and starting small. So encouraging your kid to walk or cycle to the shop and then to meet their friend in the park or to cycle home from school, whatever it might be, to increase those independent journeys, whether it's distance or complexity of the route, making sure that they're safe. But yeah, because they need to learn how to make good decisions, how to be safe, how to learn how to travel within the world. Because then when they leave the house, you want to know that they can safely get themselves about walking and cycling.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think the big thing is too with the parents. And we spoke with another thing. I think there's research saying that the radius of children being away from their parents in like the 70s was something like up to like 5 mile.
Mm,
People were going
yeah.
down to the burns and doing whatever, and they were
Yeah. Yeah.
fishing and that. Whereas now research is eyesight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it's the
Mm,
danger for parents that feel this is a big bad world.
mm,
They're going to get knocked down, they're going to get this, or someone's going to kidnap
mm.
them, or some,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, that does happen, but
Yeah. Mm,
there's certain things where you have, a bit more control off,
mm.
as they're getting older, if they are getting a phone, it's okay, just check in with me.
Yeah.
Just make sure
Yeah.
you do that, or because
Mm.
well, back in my day, it was like if the street lights come on, you just come home and let me know where you are.
That's
You
your time
know,
to come home.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was your time. That was your time. Even it was like, just come in, and that's when my so I say like, just let me know where you are. Like we would have went on
Yeah.
Saturdays, and we would have been in back fields and we would have been everywhere. And it's
Yeah.
funny now
Yeah.
because even the fields we played in, like there's a school there now and there was other
Hmm.
places, but there's housing developments. But we were like running the top of muck mountains. We were making our swings, we were making our huts
Oh, yeah.
and like just
That
proper
free
thing. We
range kind of play. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just let's go for it, and we cycled everywhere. We cycled to the
Hmm.
pool as soon as we
Hmm.
got our independence, and then I mentioned it too before. I used to cycle to the shop for my mom to get milk, but I always used to get two 2 liter cartons because if I put one
Yeah.
on one end, I would have been
Yeah. You're off
I
balance. Yeah.
needed to balance both coming up the back up the hill to the house. So, but like, yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like that bit of freedom now that you do have to be cautious. Yes, don't
Hmm.
get me wrong,
Hmm.
but you also don't pull their string too much.
Yeah.
Give them
Yeah.
and plan it out with your kid. I remember the park was the first one, and
Yeah.
it was an area maybe where there's a few other people there. It was just off in a state, and you were like,
Hmm.
guys, just go. If you're hanging around with people, there'll be good people there. There'll be people maybe as might.
Yeah.
You have to decide what's
Yeah.
right for you. Too.
Mm.
Like so, but as
Yeah.
long as you're back here for this time, how will I
Mm.
know? Well, if it's starting to get into your head, just start coming back. Or then
Yeah.
you buy them. I remember actually that's the first time I bought him as we watch, the wee stepper
Oh,
watch
okay.
too. So it's
Mm.
like, okay, where you go, but be back here for 2 o'clock, whatever time it
Yeah.
is. Just come
Yeah.
back, you eat, go back out again. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Just come check in. Yeah.
Just come
Yeah.
check in. That's it. Okay, brilliant. Right, away you go. Away you go. Away you go.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is for that. And then see from there, what's have you any programs or any advice say for, you know, people later on in life, let's just say
Yeah.
more mature?
Yeah. 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 So, Walk Wheel Cycle Trust also has a similar behavior change program for workplaces based in Derry and Belfast. So it's called Leading the Way, and a similar goal of trying to change the way adults travel to work. So rather than just driving the entire route to work, maybe it's driving part of the way to a park and ride point and then taking the bus or walking or cycling in or doing the whole journey if possible. So it's a really brilliant initiative that, yeah, is working with adults our age of folks. And maybe I'll just give a wee plug if that's okay. During the month of June, this program is running a challenge called the Active Travel Challenge for adults. You can join as an individual or as a team of your mates or as a workplace, and you can compete against other workplaces or teams or individuals across Northern Ireland and win prizes. And it also does some really nice health tracking, so you can see yeah, your minutes of physical activity, as well as when you would normally do a journey by driving and instead you choose a different option, you can see the environmental impact that you're having as well. So it pumps out some really cool data that you can look at as well.
Nice.
So if anyone wants to check that out, that's free to sign up to and join. The website is Get Me Active. So yeah, if you put that into Google, you'll find that. But
Brilliant.
that's, yeah, a nice initiative for the adults, because we recently just ran the big walk and wheel challenge, which is a UK wide, the biggest walking and wheeling challenge to school. There was over 2,500 schools across the UK that took part during the fortnight challenge. And over that fortnight in March, over 2.4 million active journeys to schools were
Wow.
made, which is really brilliant, really
Wow.
cool numbers.
I would love to know what was maintained after that as well, because I'm sure,
Yeah.
and look, even if it dropped right down to
Mm,
1%, like that's phenomenal.
yeah.
Like
No, it's,
imagine like how
yeah.
many people continued that because they got that small introduction.
Yeah.
Such
And
a
but it's some,
huge
you're right,
initiative.
there is often a drop off of challenges, but for some families, it's the thing that was like, well, actually, we did that for 5 days or 10 days, and it actually really suited our family life, and our kid loved it. So it just becomes a regular thing. Just this is the thing, we're trying to change habits and instill healthy habits that last a long time. Yeah, from children into
Brilliant.
adults. Yeah.
Brilliant. No,
And
that's
the Northern Ireland schools that took part in the challenge did fantastically. There was about 250 schools across Northern Ireland that took part. One school in particular topped not only the Northern Ireland leaderboard, but the UK leaderboard for medium-sized primary schools. It was
wow.
Dunseverick Primary. So a wee
Where's that?
village
Where's that?
school,
And
Dunseverick. It is like Bushmills direction,
oh, very good. Very good.
like
Congrats there, didn't
right
Simmer.
up on the north coast. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
amazing. They do a walking bus every morning, and yeah, the whole school community gets involved. They all
Class.
meet at the location and they walk in together and have that nice, fresh, active start to their day.
Yeah.
So, congrats to them.
Yeah. It's like that bike bus too. The guy in America started
Yeah,
it. He's like got
yeah,
Justin Timberlake. He's got all these people
yeah.
that join him. I like it. That's so cool. Like, no, it's set
Mm,
up well, but like it must be so well. Like, there's hundreds of kids there and families joining them.
yeah,
Like, I don't know
yeah,
if they go to the one school or if it's like drop off different schools, but like, I think he was in the White House and everything too because of it. Like,
yeah.
but like,
And
just
he's done well. No, it's very exciting. Yeah.
he's a teacher too, isn't that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
And this is
just
it.
yeah,
Teachers are brilliant because even though, yes, my team of officers go into schools and deliver activities, we still rely on at least one point of contact within each school. And we call them our champion, the active school travel champion in a school. And they're the person that helps coordinate things within the school, whether that's just securing dates, getting us booked in, getting information out to parents where needs be. But that person is such a key influential person within the school. And oftentimes it's someone who models that good behavior. So they, as a teacher, choose to walk or cycle to school. And when kids see that, when they see their teacher rocking up to school on their bike, then what a great example that is, and how motivating is that for them to see their teacher doing that too. So big shout out to
absolutely.
all the wonderful champions in schools.
You know, and it's great too because I know even if you go in then even elder as well, for those people who have cycled or started to introduce the cycle, but especially the elderly population, that
Yeah,
it's a great way. I know we focus a lot on cycling and there's walking, there's different, but the cycle itself is, there's less impact on the joints.
yes,
There's less
yeah.
thing. They can actually travel further. You can
Mm,
get to shops. You have your bit of own independence. So,
absolutely.
and there's different types of bikes and
Yes.
stuff out there where, they can aid.
Electric bikes have been transformative for folks
Yeah.
with mobility issues or, yeah,
Well,
older
I got
age.
done by an electric biker there coming when I was coming back up my hill. He was just like a guy was supposed to come home from work. And I was literally going like as I turned around, I was going up this hill and he's just like, all right, mate. I was like, ah, yeah, cheers. And he was just
Yes.
like, phew, but it was great. And he literally like he had the high vis on or whatever, and he did look like he was coming back from work. And
Mm,
he went
mhm.
up, pulled into the house, time me. It's like, ah, brilliant, and there was two
Brilliant.
cars, there was two cars at the house as well.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
like, he pulled in, he obviously finished the day's work. He's obviously just cycled down. We electric
Yeah.
bike back up the hill,
Yeah.
job done. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
no, it's so
brilliant.
good. And for adults, particularly working adults, it can be hard to find time to exercise.
Yeah,
So if you can make your commute an active one, whether that's walking, running, cycling, like that's the perfect way to get your exercise into your day
brilliant.
when the day is pretty packed.
And what would be is the cycle to work initiative still about?
Yes, yep.
Yeah,
So
so
it
you
depends
want to
on your
explain a little bit
employer.
about that?
Yeah, yeah. So yes, not every employer, but most employers have a cycle to work scheme, which is basically like a tax write-off, a tax break on purchasing a bike and equipment, so helmets, mud guards, panniers, whatever it might be. I know I've used it before, and it's a brilliant way. It really does help save money. So not only, yeah, do you get the tax off of it, but you can also work it into your paycheck so that you can pay it off over a period of time. And it's still your bike at the end of it. So every cycle to work scheme is a little bit different depending on your employer and what their scheme is. But I would encourage folks
Yeah.
to look into it and avail of it if you can.
Yeah, because I signed up for it myself through my own company, so it's
Yeah,
very easy even to set up.
that's good to know
Uh,
as a
so
business owner.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a business owner, I went to my local shop. I was like, "What about the cycle to work scheme?" He's like, "Yeah,
Mm,
just you fill in." I think it was like the Greenway. I
yeah.
think there's certain companies
Yep.
that look after it
Hmm.
for the government.
Yeah.
And he just says, "Look, go with these guys. I filled out. Here's my my business number, here's everything. No
Yeah.
problem. There you
Brilliant.
go. Come out of the
Mm.
paycheck, job done.
Yeah.
Everybody wins, like because
Yeah.
we get a bike, it's the tax right off. You're buying, like I bought mine local as well,
Yeah.
so you give them back to the local people that are running their bikes, you're going back in, you're interested.
Yeah.
So, I was able to get even a road bike and stuff from it. It was fantastic,
Mm. Yeah.
and yeah, I would cycle to work the odd time, and I suppose I cycled around 300 miles for work for raising money for charity, which was
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was interesting. Like
Amazing.
so, but
And
yeah, no,
the
there's
Cycle
there's a
to
lot
Work
there.
scheme is now available to teachers as well. It didn't used to be, but in the
Okay.
last couple of years it is now. So school staff, teachers can avail of it too.
Very good, very good. Well, look, I think we went through a lot there. It was really just to
Mm.
to really good insight for people to know, especially if any teachers listening to this, just
Yeah.
reach out. You'll find Beth pretty handy actually on the website, with your email and stuff, and obviously be more than happy to help where you can. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, and then so where is the best place for people to find you? Just go on the website, or where should they go?
You can search for Walk Wheel Cycle Trust. You can email me directly at schoolsni@walkwheelcycletrust.org.uk. Otherwise, yeah, Google search will lead you
Yeah,
to
you
that
find it.
eventually, I'm sure too. But
Yeah.
no, please, if anyone has any questions or you're interested in finding out if your school can take part or how they can take part, please do give me a shout. Love to hear from you.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, look, normally just finish the podcast then too, a few just quick fire rounds,
Okay.
just a few questions. But what are your own core values and why? It can't be
Mm.
related to this. It could be just totally, here's what we live by.
Um, Yeah, wow, core values. Well, one of them is I do love using my body for fun, for physical activity. So, and I like the variety in it. I know some people like to focus on one activity or sport, but I love being involved in a number of different things. So I love cycling, mountain biking, running, uh, basketball. I play some basketball, and
Oh,
I boulder. I do some bouldering too, climbing without ropes. So yeah, I think I just would encourage people, whatever it is,
yeah,
however you can move your body in a way that's enjoyable for you and for your mind, then find it and do it and try different things. Find, maybe running isn't your bag, even though it seems to be for other people, but you could find something that really, really works for you.
brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, because I know I turned 40 myself, and
Mm,
I realized like I do a stretch and I go to the gym, but I do a stretch every morning, and I've realized now that I'm actually doing all this stuff not for me now. Like I used to do it because I used to play sport, and that's why
yeah.
I did it. Now I'm doing it for my 75-year-old body.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way I look at it is like, why do I move? It's for my 75-year-old
Mm,
body because I want to still could keep continuous to 75
yeah.
onwards.
I want to
Like,
be
but
around.
I
Yeah.
want to be around, but I want to be mobile. I want to be enjoying it. I want to
Yeah.
be that wee guy that maybe we're living somewhere and God, your man cycles and gets his wee cup of coffee in the morning and
Yeah.
and comes back and
Yeah. Yeah.
God, he's out doing his wee 5K or 3K or
Yeah.
constantly out whatever. And that's like that's where I get my joy. So no, that's
Mm,
beautiful.
mm,
And what about have a book? Any book you'd recommend on your topic or just anything that somebody would be
mm.
listening to?
Um, Nothing is particularly jumping to mind. Trying to think about any books on running or cycling that I've read recently.
I'm trying to
Sorry,
look.
Gary, nothing's jumping to
No,
mind
you're
here.
right. I'm trying to look one up because Beth, it was a cyclist somebody reckoned to me. It was a lady,
Yeah,
Beth. What was her name? Uh, um, I think it was Beth Shiver. No, it's not Beth Shiver. Um, I'm gonna try and look it up here while I'm doing this. But it was amazing. It was um, uh, a lady who was a cyclist, but because she was a female
yeah,
back in the day, and she she literally was really breaking all of these records. I'll try and find I'll stick it in the notes because I know somebody had sent it on to me and recommended, and it was like phenomenal. Like
mm,
the way it was. Beryl.
okay,
A search for Britain's greatest athlete. If you
On
watch it, it's an amazing story where she was smashing the field in road racing with all
yeah,
but she wouldn't it wouldn't count because she was a female. But she
yeah,
cycled everywhere. She was a farmer, she was a wife, she was everything. But
yeah.
Beryl, like she was literally competing against the Germans and everything too. She's from Yorkshire. But it's
Mm,
fascinating.
yeah,
I think then she maybe got had an accident as well too in it. But if just for yourself even well, it
yeah.
just
No,
came into my head. It's
yeah.
a
And
really nice read.
do you know the public hire bikes in Belfast are now Barrel bikes?
Okay.
So Barrel is a English company that is named for Beryl Burton. Um, and so it's this make of the public hire kind of bikes,
Oh, there you
and
go.
it's now the kind that Belfast has too. So
So did you know about her then as well, or have you
through only through Barrel bikes, because I
through
was like,
Bear
what are
Bikes?
Barrel bikes? And I was looking it up. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
so it's a person we need to learn more about.
yeah,
Absolutely.
oh, it was amazing to read. I really enjoyed it, from that field of just, you talk
Yeah.
about everything from feminism to athletic ability to being a mom to doing everything. And it's
Yeah.
just, and the husband, he was so, like, it was just really nice read. So for anybody that's
Hmm.
interested in their bikes, listening to this, definitely get on board. Or just if you want
Yeah.
a little autobiography that you haven't heard of anybody before.
Yeah, that's a great idea. One that other name that came to mind is there's a guy from the north of Ireland called Leon McCarran,
Okay.
and he writes books, he makes films, he's a journalist, so he has loads of interesting books and films, and some of them are about his travels around the world on bikes.
Oh, wow.
Um, so it's yeah, kind of like adventure writing, but also he works in a lot of like places he goes. He looks at the political climate and yeah, the different countries and places that he goes is really interesting. But many years ago, I had got him as like a celebrity cyclist to come along to some schools, and he was so yeah, the kids were just enraptured by him, and he had such brilliant stories of I don't know, encountering bears and all
Oh,
sorts of
wow.
things on his
Yeah.
journeys. So he's an interesting person, local person to check out as well.
What's his name again? Sorry, Leon.
Leon McCarran.
Leon McCarn. So we'll look up Leon as well too. So that's brilliant. And then one final one. If you had
Mm.
a magic wand and could wish for one thing to change, what would it be?
Mm. I would love for us to finally have school streets schemes in Northern Ireland. So I'm not sure if you heard of this, but school streets, it's a proven successful initiative that's happening in the Republic of Ireland, in the UK, elsewhere in the UK, but not in Northern Ireland yet. And what it is it's timed street closures at drop off and pickup points around schools, where the local street or streets around a school are closed to any through traffic. Residents still get through, blue badge holders still have clear access, but otherwise streets are closed. Um, and look this up. Brilliant examples. You see kids, families just taking back the streets outside their schools.
Oh,
They're they're open, they're free, they're safe. Um, it really does encourage people to walk and cycle to school because if it's a safer, better
yeah.
feel.
What was it called again?
Uh,
Street?
School streets.
School Street. Yeah.
So it's something we've been lobbying for many years, and it's
Brilliant.
going to come eventually. But yes, if I had a magic wand, I would
Yeah, yeah. Bring that
get it
in.
into place because it would
Wonderful.
be transformative for many schools here. We'd love to see it come into play.
Brilliant. And then would you recommend anybody to come on, have a chat or share as well too, to come on the
Oh,
podcast?
uh,
Leon.
yeah, do
Mhm.
yeah. See if you can get him. That would be good.
Leon would be a good shade.
Yeah.
No, brilliant. Well, look, Beth, thank you so much for that. That was, I think, very, very informative. It was great to see
Mm.
what you're doing. Hopefully, if teachers, educators, parents, anybody's listening to this, if even if you are a parent, send the information on to school. They may already know about it. Yes, that's fine. But you can get involved yourself as a parent. You could maybe start taking some of your cycle or your walking buses as well too. So there's a lot out there. Not all onus is all on the teachers.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, that's brilliant. And thank you so much for your time as well. It
yeah.
was
No
excellent
worries.
stuff.
Lovely to meet you, Gary, and all the best for your good work.
Brilliant. Thank you.
All
Cheerio.
right. Thank you. Bye.